welcome to Really Free Book Club. My name is Julia. I am a aspiring class trader and a believer in a better future. And my goal with this is to inspire you to do the same. Let me tell you a little about me because I am kind of restarting this podcast in a way. Right now I am 26. I live in Spain currently. I'm from New York. And I am a leftist, I am a librarian, I like to have fun, and I love children, and it's so important to me that they get to grow up in a world where they are happy and healthy and safe. And pretty much all of my politics comes down to that. And lastly, I hope that I can help inspire you or to take action in your community and realize the positive power that you have in your world, because you really do. It feels really cheesy to say that. I'm not I really try not to say, I don't know, there's a lot of like cheesy phrases out there and things like that, and one of them is that you matter, but sometimes these phrases come from somewhere and they are true, right? Some of them are. You do matter, and if that's cheesy, then I just have to live with that. Basically, what I want to talk about today was a little bit about my experience here in Spain, and also how even just this past month has inspired me to want to contribute more to leftist thought and more like child-focused thinking in the United States, and the way that we set up our livelihoods, our communities, our attitudes about the future, and things like that. On a personal level, this is a way for me to like process political happenings while I'm abroad, and hopefully bring you new information, bring you things that you might not be able to read or listen to, or maybe just want commentary on. We'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna make any promises because I'm notoriously bad at following through on them, and it's important to know yourself. So this is gonna be whatever it ends up being, right? That's all I got. But today what I want to talk about are a few things. One of the reasons I was inspired today to do this, I think is where I was going, is that Zohran won the New York City mayoral election, and I know that part of it is the corner of the internet I'm on, even though I'd like to be less on the internet, of course, wouldn't we all? I really was impressed, and I mean, I think many people were. I really was impressed with his campaign strategy and execution. I think there is a part of our society that has accepted that politics is supposed to be for old people, and he is one of the people out there changing that. I wonder if Omar Fateh won in Minnesota. Hold on. Yeah, in Minnesota. Let me see. Oh, he did not win. I was talking to a friend who lives in Minneapolis. Okay, sorry, let me backtrack first, actually. So Omar Fateh was a Democratic candidate running for mayor in Minneapolis. And I was talking to a friend who told me that he apparently is like a little flaky and not as consistent as he probably should be if he really wanted to win that race. I can't confirm or deny that, I don't live there. He did not win, but I saw that a few other Democratic seats won, including Prop 50 in California, which is a redistricting referendum. I will link information about that below because I didn't prepare any of that for today, but yeah, very cool of California to do that. Anyways, so Zohran defeated the one and only Andrew Cuomo in the New York mayoral race, and it's so fascinating because before the election day, I was kind of talking about Andrew Cuomo and like the attitude that New Yorkers in general have about him, because he's not like a popular guy as far as I'm aware. Like, he was the governor during COVID, and basically everyone hated how he did that. Like, it wasn't, I don't know how many people were pro Andrew Cuomo by the time the pandemic was like in the throes. Like, he was not doing a good job. He like notoriously has been under legal and public scrutiny for the way he handled seniors who were infected and in nursing homes, and how many of them died during COVID for apparently like seemingly preventable, due to preventable happening situations, right? So to me, the idea that anyone in New York was rallying around Andrew Cuomo was really fascinating. And I know that it ended up being, you know, the richer people in New York, because they kind of wanted a status quo person. They don't want their wealth to be threatened, and those reasons make sense. But at the same time, I just couldn't believe that anyone was like, I guess it really is a case of picking the known evil versus the unknown, right? Another thing that I think is so fascinating is the way that Americans conceptualize socialism and communism, and also just like any political activity at all, right? Like the idea that people are comfortable conflating fast and free buses with communism instead of just actually demanding something from their government is so interesting to me, because America wants to project that it is so strong, and that it doesn't take shit from anyone, right? And we have the Second Amendment and this and that, and people will ride so hard for the Second Amendment, forgetting that it is, first of all, it's like meant to be used against police and the military of the United States, or that was an original interpretation of it, because they thought that you deserved to have arms in order to defend yourself from an unjust government, but okay. But also that individually, Americans are so, like, genuinely so spineless, and the social contract that we have is not only encourages it, but like requires that you are spineless. And what I mean by that is, like, I mean, it all comes back to capitalism, right? Like, capitalism does not want you to have a backbone. It wants you to be a good worker. And those things do not go together. You can't have a backbone and challenge authority and fight for the things that are right and just in the world, and also be, like, a really good employee. Like, sure, you do your job and hate because you need your job, but, like, I'm talking about the above and beyond. Like, the ideal worker under capitalism is someone who listens to directions, someone who works efficiently and diligently. And if you have a strong sense of what it means for people to be treated well in this world, then I just don't think you can do that. I hope I'm, like, explaining that well enough. But so anyways, like, people in America will say things like, you know, like, you have to go out there and, like, take care of yourself and, like, provide for your family and this and that. But also, capitalism is so deeply ingrained to the way we see ourselves that, like, our personal value is tied up with property, and people in the US will, like, try to defend, they're defensive of the damage to property as if that is even close to the same thing as violence towards human beings. Like, people, they don't see violence, they don't see, like, the fact that you lose your health insurance nearly immediately after quitting your job as violence, but they see, like, smashing a replaceable window as violence. Do you see what I'm saying? Like if they see other countries have, like, rioted and rose up, and they don't have guns like we do in the United States, if you know. So it's just really fascinating to see that so much of what it means to be, like, a strong American is to be a rule follower and a part of the group. And I mean, that's That's what I think about when I think about cops too, is like, sure, your Uncle Tom is a fine guy, right? But at the end of the day, your job as a cop, as a police officer, is to follow rules. It's to do what the state tells you to do, no matter if you agree with it or not. And that that's what makes it so problematic, is that you are losing your choice as a human being, and you're giving it up to do that as a job, because at the end of the day, that's what they require of you. Even though, like I was saying, like, I think I posted on Instagram about this a while ago, but like, if you are a cop, like, I see the videos of people getting like slammed to the ground or like chased down or whatever. Like, just because you have a job doesn't mean that you have to do it well. Like, if you really could be a police officer and just do a bad job, and that would be better. Like, you don't have to chase this person down. Like, that's the thing. It's like, at a certain point, you have to be the one who believes in what the government is telling you to do. And if you're that committed to it, then what's the difference between you and the government? Like, there's not. Like, I would have so much respect for someone who was a police officer and quit because they were like, I don't want to be, like, in a dramatic way, a pawn of the state, right? And the reason, it's not that is, like, it's not that working for the government is so bad, right? Like, I'm a librarian. I think, like, the government should provide things for you, and people should work there and make decisions on how they're treated and how the government functions. But ultimately, I do think that there is, like, I mean, when the public service in question is policing, in a job where you have to give up your ability to choose your actions or your willingness, that's the thing, you never truly give it up. You can always choose to do something different, even if it feels wrong, even if it feels too late. If you are a police officer, you can choose to quit. And I know that getting a job in America is hard right now, but it's not impossible. Just hard and possible go together a lot of the times, right? So, like, it doesn't matter if you don't want to, or if you don't feel like you can, or if you could, though. You could. But they're not. They're instead chasing down people that look Hispanic. So I just don't see how that's better than, like, just letting people use the bathrooms that they need to use. Anyways, the point is that Zohran Mamdani won New York, and people think New York is like this liberal hellhole where like order goes to die, right? Like, everyone's just homeless and gay and all this kind of thing. And like, it's not. The fear was that rich people would leave New York, but they're not. Why would they do that? They have so much money invested. It's not just, like, the taxes have been high in New York for a long time. Like, it's not, there's not one single factor that draws the richest people in the world to New York City. I think another interesting part of this is that Zohran will never be president because he wasn't born in the United States. Some people just truly can't conceptualize why someone would want to have this job if not for political gain in the future. And I do want to add the caveat to all this by saying that, like, I hope that Zohran does a good job. I hope that people in New York City, like, benefit from him being the mayor. And like any politician, you have to stay on their case. They're not your friend. They are accountable to you. And at the end of the day, he's doing a job, and it's his job as the person who campaigned to deliver, right? I'm sure he will make mistakes. I'm sure he will do things that we don't like, and I just hope they're minimal. I hope that he fixes them. I hope that he can actually serve as an example of what someone who is passionate and also smart and also younger and with it can do for even a city like New York. Because I think where I was going earlier was that Americans can't see outside of capitalism, and they can't even understand what could be possible, like how good their life actually could be without being the rich person. Anyway, somehow the conclusion I'm trying to make is that somehow Americans have been convinced that the idea that you could ask for things that would actually benefit your and your family and your community's well-being from the government, and that the government actually does owe you something, is like a dangerous, bad idea. Like the idea that the people who participate and live in a community can have a say over it, and also that services could be provided. Like, those are words that people in America are afraid of and hate. I mean, not really. Like, when you talk to someone and you don't use any of like the socialism buzzwords, I feel like you can usually get them to, like, you know, an average normal person would agree that people should have food and things like that. Maybe it's the methods come down to, but it does fascinate me that how easily people give up how easily they give up the idea that the government could owe them something, or that it exists for a purpose. Like, to me, I just don't understand why else the government exists then, right? Like, what is it there for? Then we could all just do whatever we wanted if it's not to make life better. Do you want it to make life worse? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Zohran Mamdani won, and I love to see everyone be so hopeful and happy and like believe in something for once, right? Like, people are, you know, the billionaires are confused as to how he won. It's just, and I think it's funny to think that anyone is confused at how he won, because it's just that he's a real person. He comes off like a real person. He's like a little awkward, he's goofy, he's like a young, attractive guy. He's just a normal guy. Like, people like normal people, and he kept talking about things that people care about, that affect people every day. It's not like, as much as the Democratic Party would like to think so, it's not a secret. It's not hard to win elections. You just have to give people the things that they want. Like, life in America sucks right now. Like, everyone just works. Nobody has fun. They don't have any extra money. There's nowhere to go. We make up these little fake places to go, and I don't understand who these people are that are in the Democratic Party that are making these decisions and saying, like, no, we have to sit in the middle. We have to sit in this imaginary middle that doesn't exist. Like, I think that our conception of, it's really interesting to think about the average person's conception of like the political spectrum too, because they think on one hand you have like communism, which is like the worst thing of all time, and then we have Nazism on the other side, which allegedly is the worst thing of all time in our cultural zeitgeist. But when we're offered fascism, we like that. Right? Like, because it offers stability, theoretically. But it just, when it comes to Nazism, it fascinates me, like, how many, like, the meme is that your dad loves to read World War II books, right? Like, people are against, or at least used to be, against Nazis. Like, killing Nazis is a cultural zeitgeist item. Like, it's something that we all kind of agree on. And yet, here we are. And so they think that somehow the center is the correct, or like the best place to be. I don't know, I guess I spent a lot of time thinking about right-wing thought, because like, people just want stability so bad. People are so afraid of the unknown, I guess. I think for now I'm gonna cut this off because I have to go do my lesson. But I just wanted to post something on here and kind of set a tone for how I feel about things. My plan is that in the future I will have more materials to actually look at and discuss. Okay, before I go, I just wanted to talk about something actually insane that I saw online this week and lighten it up a little bit. So I am a very spotty user of the dating apps, right? I don't really expect anything out of them, but I still have them on my phone and I keep going on them, and every once in a while I get a match with someone. It's whatever, honestly. Like it's not doing anything really worthwhile. A couple days ago, my roommate and I kind of like, we matched on Tinder as like a joke, and she sent me a message and I opened it, and I noticed that at the top of my screen when I opened Tinder, there was a like a frequency bar, like a progress bar. Like, you know when you have an app and it's like Duolingo. Like Duolingo, it's like it tells you every time you check in what number day of your streak you're on, right? I opened Tinder and it has introduced a streak counter. So, and it claims that when you log in more frequently every day, right, that you will appear better in the results. And I think that is maybe one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. It is so bad. I was talking about dating with someone. I know that the dating apps like don't really work. Some people are very lucky. Zohran, for example, met his wife on Hinge, as far as I know. But the idea that you would introduce a counter to try and encourage people to use Tinder is so crazy. It's so crazy because like it's like, what is that is saying? Like it's basically saying that you deserve to have more matches if you are on your phone more. If you are, maybe what it's implying is that if you want it more than others, you will log in more and then you will be rewarded for that. But it's just like, realistically, how much are we, what are we expecting from these apps anyway? Like, I'm gonna give this a little more thought. Maybe I'll talk to my brother about it, but I just thought that was actually unbelievable. Like, I would love to live in a world where you don't have to gamify the odds that you're gonna meet someone that you think is attractive and hope that the algorithm will show them to you so that you can stop coming back to this app. Like, it's just an insane sentence to say. Like, I have one of those counters when I go to the gym because they want to motivate you to go to the gym, right? I mean, it's a similar business model, I guess, but that makes sense because it's like the gym is like a habit you're trying to create. But who on earth is trying to create a habit of being on Tinder? No one. No, everyone wants to get off of it. So I just thought that was so unbelievable. I couldn't believe my eyes. Yeah, I guess that's all I have about it for today. I'm gonna go because I need to get ready for my lessons and do my laundry. But I just wanted to get kind of how I feel about things out there and remind you that it's actually like cool to be woke, and it's actually fun when people get to live fulfilling lives, and you know, people are not starving because they're losing their SNAP benefits, and immigrants aren't being kidnapped off the street, and it's never been cool to think that. It never will be. Yeah, life can be better than this, okay? I just want you to remember that. And everyone deserves that. Once again, this is Really Free Book Club. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. The world is a better place because you're in it, and I will talk to you later. Bye.